I walked into our house in Salem, Oregon, covered in sawdust and sweat, back aching like hell. My boots left dirt on the mat, but I didn't even care. I just spent my only day off this week busting my ass in her uncle's barn. For the third damn time this month. Guy had me moving the same damn shelves around like it was some life or death mission. I did it anyway. For her. Always for her. She was on the couch, legs tucked under her, scrolling through her phone like I didn't exist. I stood there waiting for a glance. A thank you. Hell, even a how'd it go. Instead, she barely looked up and said flat, "Uncle Ron said you seemed kinda annoyed. Said you weren't very helpful." I blinked. Not helpful. My voice cracked from the surprise. I reorganized that barn from top to bottom. For the third time. She shrugged. Well, that's what he said. And honestly, I've noticed it too. You're always irritated. I dropped my keys on the counter harder than I meant to. You know what's irritating? Bending over backwards for people who don't appreciate it. She didn't flinch. Just stared at me with that bored look that always made me feel like I was crazy. Then she said it. Flat, cold, almost rehearsed. You know, I'm starting to think you just can't get it right with anyone. Not with him. Not with me. Not with anyone. It hit me like a shovel to the chest. I didn't yell. Didn't throw anything. Didn't even move at first. Just stood there, letting it burn straight through. Then I nodded once. You're right, I said, calm as stone. I can't. So I won't. I walked past her into the kitchen, grabbed a cold beer from the fridge, cracked it open, and leaned against the counter. She sat up straighter. Wait, hold on, that's not. I took a sip. Didn't even look at her. My heartbeat slowed. My back still hurt, but not in the same way. This time it was different. That was the moment I decided I was done. Done trying to earn points in a game rigged against me. Before we go further, quick note. Share which city or country you're watching from. She kept talking, backtracking, saying I misunderstood, that she was just frustrated. I stayed silent. Not angry, just done. I finished my beer, set it down, and grabbed another. This time, I didn't drink it for the taste. I drank it to mark the line. Because from that moment on, I wasn't trying to please her anymore. Next morning, I got up at my usual time. 5:45. Showered, dressed, let the dog out. Same routine. Except I skipped one thing. I didn't make her coffee. For 10 years, every damn weekday morning, I brewed her favorite dark roast, added that stupid oat creamer she liked, poured it into her dumb pink travel mug with the faded heart on it, and set it on the counter by her keys. Rain or shine, sick or not. We didn't always get along, but I always made the coffee. Not today. She came downstairs 30 minutes later, heels clicking, jacket half on, in a rush like always. Her eyes scanned the counter. She stopped. Where's my coffee? She asked. I was buttering toast. Calm, steady. Didn't make it. She blinked, like I told her the roof was gone. Why not? I didn't even look up. I always made it to keep you happy, but you said I can't do that. So why bother? She stared at me. Wow, really? You're seriously being petty over one comment? I shrugged. It wasn't just one. She scoffed, grabbed a banana, and stormed out. No kiss, no goodbye. Just the slam of the door and the echo of her heels on the porch. I ate my toast in silence. The house felt weirdly quiet, but I didn't miss her voice. That night, I stopped by a burger joint on the way home, grabbed a double bacon with fries, and headed straight to the garage. My '68 Chevelle was sitting under a tarp, same way it had for the last 4 years. I pulled it off, wiped dust off the hood, and popped it open. The garage had always been my space. She hated the smell of oil and old rubber, said it made her gag. So I stopped spending time in there. Like a lot of things, I let it go to keep things smooth. Not anymore. I ate my burger leaning over the engine block, wiping my hands on a shop rag. First time I'd actually enjoyed dinner in weeks. About an hour in, I heard the back door creak open. Her footsteps were light, careful. She walked in holding a plate covered with foil. I made chicken, she said, setting it on the workbench. There's some rice too. Appreciate it, I said without turning around. She stood there, awkward. Can we talk? I finally looked at her. She wasn't angry this time. She looked confused, like she didn't know how to stand. I don't want to disappoint you again, I said. Her mouth opened slightly, then closed. She looked down at the plate, then back at me. I didn't mean it like that, she said, voice softer now. I wiped my hands again. You said what you meant. I heard you. She looked like she wanted to say more, but didn't. Just stood there, hands stuffed in her hoodie, like a kid about to get scolded. I turned back to the car. I'm working. She hesitated a second longer, then picked up the plate. I'll leave this in the fridge. All right. She left without another word. The door clicked shut behind her. And just like that, the wall went up. Not angry, not bitter, just done pretending I didn't hear her loud and clear. The next morning, I got up, showered, ate, left. No coffee for her. No, have a good day. Nothing. At lunch, I used to text her something stupid like how's your day going or don't forget your appointment. I didn't even look at my phone. By Thursday, she texted first. Just a casual hey. I saw it pop up while I was eating in the truck and let it sit. No reply. That night, I didn't grab her oat milk on the way home. Didn't swing by her dry cleaning like I usually did on Thursdays. She asked about it the second I walked in. You didn't pick up my stuff? I dropped my keys on the counter. Didn't stop. She narrowed her eyes. You always stop. Used to, I said, heading down the hall. She followed. What's that supposed to mean? I turned around. It means I'm not your assistant. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I walked into the bedroom and shut the door behind me. No slam, just firm. That night, she put on Chicago Fire, the show we always watched together. Usually I sat next to her and rubbed her feet while she made comments about the hot paramedics. Instead, I stayed in the kitchen, flipped through a car catalog, and drank a beer. I could feel her glancing over, waiting, probably expecting me to cave. I didn't. The next night, I got home to find her in the kitchen making tacos. My favorite. She was dressed nice too. Hair down, makeup. She looked good, not gonna lie. Hey babe, she said, soft and sweet. Dinner in 10. I opened the fridge, grabbed a water. Thanks. She waited. Probably expected me to kiss her or wrap my arms around her waist like I usually did. I didn't. We ate in silence. She tried small talk about work. I nodded a couple times but didn't ask questions. No jokes. No smiles. After dinner, she came into the bedroom wearing one of those silky tank tops she used to pull out when she wanted something. She slid into bed next to me and pressed her leg against mine. You know, she whispered, trailing her fingers across my chest. We haven't, in a while. I kept my eyes on the ceiling. Yeah. She leaned over, kissed my neck. Missed you. I turned slightly to face her. Calm, not cold. Don't want to waste your time. She blinked, confused. What? I sat up, swung my legs off the bed. Don't want to give you something you clearly don't value. Okay, wait. What are you even talking about? I stood, grabbed a shirt off the chair. I'm talking about not pretending everything's fine just because you're suddenly in the mood. She pulled the blanket up, looking stunned. So that's it? You're just done. I looked at her, really looked. I'm done being the guy who gives and gets kicked for it. Her mouth opened, but she had nothing. Not right away. I didn't kick you, she said finally, quieter. I was frustrated. People say things. Right? I said, walking to the door. So do I. I headed for the garage again. This time, not to escape, just to stay where I felt like a human being. Behind me, the bedroom stayed quiet. No slamming doors. No yelling. Just the sound of someone who finally realized I wasn't bluffing. The next night, I came in from the garage and found her at the kitchen table, flipping through her phone with a weird smile on her face, like she wanted me to ask. I didn't. She cleared her throat. Ran into Jared today. Remember him? From my old job. I opened the fridge. Nope. She kept going anyway. He used to have the cubicle across from mine. Funny guy. said I still looked the same. I grabbed a bottle of water and leaned against the counter. That right? Yeah, she said, twisting her ring slowly. Said it was good seeing me again. She looked up, waiting for a reaction. I cracked the bottle open. Took a sip. Cool. She blinked. That's all you have to say? I shrugged. You're grown. Talk to who you want. She stared like I'd spoken a foreign language. Next morning, she accidentally mentioned the neighbor, Todd. He offered to help trim the hedges Saturday. Said I could call him anytime. I nodded. Sounds like Todd's got free time. She narrowed her eyes. You're really not gonna say anything? Nope. By Friday, the flirty clothes started coming out. Tight jeans. That red top I used to love. She wore my favorite perfume. Soft vanilla with something sharp in it. I walked in from work and smelled it immediately. She was in the kitchen lighting candles over the table. Steak, mashed potatoes, green beans. She even bought the beer I like. I paused in the doorway. You cook all this? She smiled, proud. Yeah. Thought we could sit down. Just us. I nodded. Smells good. We ate. She kept looking at me like she wanted more. Laughs, compliments, anything. I kept the conversation surface level. Whether the car, her new boss. I thanked her for dinner. Didn't reach for her hand. Didn't touch her. After the dishes were done, she followed me to the living room, sat on the couch and patted the spot next to her. I found that movie we said we'd watch together, she said, holding the remote. Remember? That suspense one with the lake house. I stood at the entryway, arms crossed. Never heard of it. But go ahead. She faltered. We talked about it. Months ago. I shook my head. Nope. Not once. The remote lowered a little. Her voice dipped. Maybe I remembered wrong. Maybe, I said. I left her on the couch and headed to the back porch, letting the screen door creak behind me. Lit a cigarette I hadn't touched in over a year. From outside, I could see her sitting there, staring at the dark screen. No movie playing. No smile. No candlelight left. It was starting to hit her, because none of it worked. Not the fake jealousy games. Not the perfume. Not the made-up memories. I wasn't playing anymore. And for once, she couldn't figure out the rules. I was halfway through making eggs when she walked into the kitchen in her robe, eyes puffy like she hadn't slept. She didn't say good morning, just stood there, arms folded, back leaning against the fridge. Are you really gonna punish me forever? She asked. I cracked the second egg into the pan. Let it sizzle. I'm not punishing you. She stepped forward. Then what the hell is this? You barely look at me. You're cold. Distant. I kept my eyes on the skillet. You told me I can't get it right. I'm just finally listening. That's not fair, she snapped. I said it out of frustration. People say things they don't mean. I flipped the eggs. I've said things in frustration too. Never cut you like that. Her voice cracked. You're twisting it. No, I said, finally turning to face her. I'm done trying to win at a game I can't win. That's all this is. She stared at me like she didn't recognize what was standing in front of her, like I'd grown a second head. I've apologized. No, I said, calm but direct. You tried to reset. That's different. She didn't say anything, just stood there watching me plate my food. I walked past her and sat down to eat at the table like it was any other day. That night, I heard the extra plates clinking in the kitchen. Smelled something baking. Didn't ask. I stayed in the garage till around 7, wiping down parts, not really working, just keeping my hands busy. When I walked back in, her cousin Rachel was at the table, already halfway through a glass of wine. There he is, Rachel said, cheerful. We were starting to think you got lost. I nodded. Evening. We made lemon chicken, my wife said. You love lemon chicken. Appreciate it, I said, setting my keys on the counter. But I already ate. You sure? Rachel asked. There's plenty. Positive, I said. You two enjoy. I grabbed a water and walked down the hall without another word. They kept their voices low after that, like they were hosting a wake instead of dinner. I stayed in the bedroom, reading. Didn't bother trying to hear what was said. After she walked Rachel out, she came into the bedroom slow, like she was trying not to spook me. She was dressed up again, hair curled, that soft red lipstick she used to wear when we were dating. I didn't say anything, just looked at her. She sat on the edge of the bed. I've been trying. I know. I made your favorite dinner. I got Rachel to come. I thought maybe if it felt normal again. Respect first, I said, cutting her off. The rest comes later. She looked like she got slapped. I set my book down, calm as ever. You want things to go back, but you haven't owned what you did. You're throwing out bait, hoping I'll bite. I'm not starving anymore. She swallowed hard. I don't know what you want from me. I don't want anything, I said. I just stopped giving away pieces of myself to someone who treats them like scrap. She sat there frozen, hands gripping the blanket. For the first time, she didn't try to touch me. That was new. She brought it up the next morning while I was loading laundry into the washer. Hey, she said from the doorway. Don't forget Miranda's surprise party Saturday. 6 o'clock at her sister's house. I didn't even look up. I'm not going. She blinked. What do you mean you're not going? I've got plans. Her arms crossed. Doing what? I'm hiking Mount June. Clearing my head. She stared at me like I just confessed to cheating. You're ditching a party for a walk in the woods? I shut the washer lid and looked her dead in the eye. I'd rather be surrounded by trees than fake smiles. I already told everyone you'd be there. Then you'll have to untell them. Her jaw clenched. Do you even care how this makes me look? Nope. That shut her up for a second. Then she stormed off, muttering something about how she couldn't believe me. I let her go. Wasn't my problem anymore. Saturday came. I packed a small cooler, tossed my boots and a rolled-up map into the back of my truck, and hit the road. No apology. No explanation. Just left. It was quiet out there. Miles of dirt trail. Nothing but pine and rock and the sound of my boots hitting the ground. I made it to the overlook by early afternoon. Ate a sandwich, watched the clouds drift by. Felt the weight come off my shoulders a little more with each step away from that house. Around 4, my phone buzzed. One message. Her name. I had to tell people you weren't coming. Everyone asked what happened. I looked like an idiot. I stared at the screen for a second. No anger. Just a blank space where something used to be. I locked the phone and stuffed it in my backpack. Kept walking. By the time I got home Sunday evening, she was waiting on the couch, arms crossed, face tight. You really ignored me all weekend? I dropped my keys in the bowl and headed to the kitchen. Didn't feel like answering. I had to make excuses for you, she said, following behind me. Everyone asked where you were. I felt humiliated. I opened the fridge. Then maybe stop telling people things I haven't agreed to. She let out a bitter laugh. You're just gonna keep punishing me, huh? Acting like everything is my fault. I turned and looked her square in the eye. Calm. Unmoved. You chose the words, I said. I'm just living in the world you created. She opened her mouth like she had something to say, then stopped. She looked down at the floor. I grabbed a drink, cracked it open, and walked past her into the garage. She didn't follow. And that was the first time I felt the boundary actually hold. The next day, I came home from work and saw her car in the driveway, along with my sister's. That made me stop cold. I walked in and found the two of them sitting in the living room like they'd been rehearsing a scene. My wife stood up fast. Hey, I asked Danny to come over. I just thought maybe you two could talk. I looked at my sister. She gave me a small nod. No judgment in her face, just quiet curiosity. That was her style. I stayed standing. Talk about what? I told her what's been going on, my wife said, voice low. I figured she might help you see my side. Danny raised an eyebrow. Actually, I wanted to hear both sides. I leaned against the wall. She tell you what she said to me? She mentioned a comment, Danny said. Didn't sound small. I stared at my wife. Go ahead. Say it again. Out loud. She fidgeted. I told him that I don't think he can get it right. Not with me. Not with anyone. Danny blinked. Damn. It was heat of the moment, my wife said quickly, looking between us. I didn't mean. Stop. Danny cut in, calm but sharp. That's not a heat of the moment thing. That's character level. My wife froze. So you're taking his side? I'm taking the side that makes sense, Danny said. He's been bending over backward for years. I've seen it. You think a man stops showing up overnight? My wife's mouth opened, then closed. She sat down slowly. After a long silence, she finally said, maybe it was too harsh. I shook my head. No, it wasn't too harsh. She looked up fast, eyes hopeful for a second. It was revealing, I finished. That hope cracked right down the middle. Danny stood. I've said what I needed to say. She looked at me. You good? I'm good. She grabbed her purse and gave me a small pat on the shoulder. Then she looked back at my wife. You want to fix this? Stop acting like he's the problem for reacting. After she left, the room stayed quiet. My wife sat motionless, staring at the coffee table like it might offer her a way out. I didn't wait for more conversation. I walked down the hall, pulled open the guest room door, and took one long look around. Still full of boxes from last year's garage sale, a busted treadmill, and a dresser no one used. I spent the next hour dragging everything out. By nightfall, the closet was cleared, the walls were bare, and the old twin bed was gone. I rolled out a rug, brought in my toolbox, and started sketching out a plan for shelving. She stood in the doorway for a while, watching. Didn't say a word. I didn't either, because this wasn't about decorating. It was about carving out space that belonged to me and only me. I was tightening down a shelf bracket in the guest room, my room now, when I heard the knock. It was soft, barely there. I didn't answer, just kept turning the wrench. The door creaked open anyway. I didn't look up. She stepped inside, slow like she was entering a church. Can I sit? She asked. I kept my back to her. It's a room, not a courtroom. Do what you want. I heard the chair creak as she sat. She was quiet for a full minute. Then I heard it sniffling. I turned, wrench still in hand. Her face was blotchy, eyes red, shoulders slumped. Not dramatic, just worn the hell down. I need to say something, she said, voice shaky. For real this time. I nodded once. Then say it. She took a deep breath. I felt neglected. For a while. I didn't know how to say it, so I just exploded. I wanted to hurt you. You did. I know, she said, wiping her face with her sleeve. I didn't think you'd take it seriously, but I said it to wound you. I'm sorry. I leaned against the workbench, arms crossed. That wasn't frustration. That was character assassination. I know, she whispered. You didn't deserve it. No, I said. But I listened anyway. Took your words and held them up like a damn mirror. Started seeing myself through them. Stopped seeing us all together. She looked up, tears sliding down both cheeks. I didn't realize it would change you. It didn't just change me, I said. It rewired everything. The way I see this marriage. The way I see you. She blinked hard, like the truth physically stung. I was scared, she said. I felt you pulling away back then and I panicked. I tried to say something to snap you out of it. But I went too far. Way too far. No, I said. You didn't go too far. She looked confused. You went exactly where you meant to go. And you hit the mark. She dropped her eyes. You want to fix it now? That's fine. But I'm not rebuilding off the same foundation. She nodded quickly, desperate. I don't want the old version of us either. I want something better. I'll do whatever it takes. I stared at her for a long second. Then I said it plain. You'll have to earn it. That version of me, the one that tiptoed around your moods, that tried to get it right just to keep peace, he's gone. This only works if there's respect and effort. Or it doesn't work at all. I understand, she said, voice cracking. And I want to try, really try, not just patch things. I'll show up different. You'll need to. She stood, slow. Can I help with the room? Not to take it over. Just help. I glanced around. Tools scattered, wood stacked, paint cans unopened. I gave a slow nod. You can hand me that level. She smiled through her tears and picked it up off the floor. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like she was faking it. She just looked tired, honest, maybe even ready to face what she broke, and what it would take to earn her way back. By the next week, she was different. Not dramatic, not begging or love-bombing, just slower, quieter, more deliberate. She knocked before coming into the retreat room now. Always, even if the door was open. And when she slipped up, like cutting me off mid-sentence or correcting me sharply, she'd stop herself halfway through, eyes wide like she caught her own hand on a hot stove. Sorry, she'd say. That was old me. Go on. She thanked me when I helped unload groceries. Thanked me when I changed her headlight. Hell, she even thanked me for fixing the damn garbage disposal. Something I'd done at least 10 times over the years without a single word before. I didn't give her gold stars for it. Just nodded. Kept it even. I wasn't handing out forgiveness like candy. But I noticed. 3 weeks later, her uncle showed up uninvited, again, with a box of old junk he wanted us to help move. I was already on the porch, finishing a coffee, when he started in. You mind giving me a quick hand in the truck? Just a few boxes. She stepped outside behind me before I could even answer. He's done enough, she said, loud and clear. Say thank you or don't speak. He blinked like someone slapped him with a dish towel. Well, okay then. She didn't apologize after. Didn't even look my way to see if I'd noticed. But I did. A month later, she surprised me with a weekend trip to the coast. Booked a little cabin, made sure it had a working grill, even packed my favorite snacks. I figured we could both use a reset, she said in the car, hands tight on the wheel. If you're up for it. I didn't answer right away. I just looked at her. Not desperate, not faking. Just nervous, hopeful. Trying. Yeah, I said. Let's go. The cabin was simple. Wood floors, ocean breeze, nothing fancy. But it was the first time in years I felt like we were sitting across from each other instead of on opposite sides of a tug-of-war rope. She asked what I wanted to do before making plans. Helped with dinner without acting like I owed her a medal. And when we finally ended up in bed again that night, it wasn't her trying to pull me back out of spite or panic. It felt like two people showing up because they wanted to, not because they had to. When it was over, she rolled over and said, I missed this, but I understand why I had to. I didn't respond right away, just laid there, listening to the waves hit the shore outside, thinking about how far we'd come from that one comment that burned everything down. She was showing up differently now, not as someone looking to be saved, but as someone willing to build with me, brick by brick. I wasn't falling for words anymore, but the effort that I could finally believe in. She knocked twice on the frame, then stepped into my office, my space, holding a black mug in both hands. Coffee, she said, just how you like it. 2 sugars, splash of half and half. Nothing weird. I turned from the workbench, took it, gave her a small nod. Thanks. She didn't linger like she wanted praise, just smiled calm, confident, like she belonged in her own skin again. She looked around the room, eyes landing on the framed photo of my dad I'd finally hung near the window. Still hard to believe this was the junk room, she said. It fits you. I sipped the coffee. Still hot. Just right. Got a surprise, she added. Dinner's at 7. I booked us a table at Bennett's. I raised an eyebrow. That's my spot. I know, she said. Figured it was time we celebrate something. 3 months, give or take, since the rebuild started. I nodded again. All right. At the restaurant, we sat by the window. She didn't check her phone once. We didn't talk about work or bills or what needed fixing. Just us. She leaned forward, wine glass in her hand. Do you ever think about where we were? Back then. All the time. And this version of us? She asked. It feels better. I looked her in the eye. The old me would have chased you for validation. This me expects partnership. She let that sit for a second, then nodded slowly. I respect you more now than ever, because you refused to accept less. Back home, I hung my jacket near the door while she fed the dog. We didn't have to say much. The air between us was clear, not perfect, but real. And as I reached for the light switch, I realized something I hadn't been able to put into words before. I never needed to satisfy everyone. Never needed to bend and twist myself into shapes just to be seen. I just needed one person, the right person, to see value in what I already brought to the table. It wasn't revenge. It was clarity. And that changed everything.